Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company at Dubai Watch Week 2023 with the man, the myth, the legend, the founder and the owner and the creator of the most popular video I've ever had on my channel at Ressence Watches, Benoît Mintiens. Benoît, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Now, what's always special about your watches is that you make them very friendly, very approachable, and when possible, as local as you possibly can. This is the latest collaboration with Dubai Watch Week. Tell me about this Type 1 round and what you've done with the DX3.
Sure, DX3 is it fits within a trilogy that we did together with Siddiqui. We started in 2019, DXB, then DX2 in 21, and now in 23. The three watches, they all share a common DNA. The DNA is the Arabic pattern that we developed for the three watches, but it has the same pattern. But the application is always different, and the application is a mix between an Arabic art, craft, and a watchmaking craft. So the first one, for example, combines arabesque and skeleton. The second one, Sadhu, that's a weaving technique from here, and guilloché. And this one, the last one, the one that we introduced during Dubai Watch Week 23, combines cloisonnage, that's a watchmaking technique, with pockets, with the mosaics in the Arabic world. And so in this watch you have a pattern of different colors, different pockets of color that are structured like an Arabic pattern, but very subtle, of course, and there is a kind of logics between them in the colors.
So at the same time that you're using cloisonné, you're also using elaborate super Luminova. So the watch itself is highly reactive.
Yep.
How do you design this in the mind's eye? How do you see these colors?
You will see that they're not completely the same because in Luminova you have different variations. The idea here is, for us it was quite an obvious thing to do because basically all our hands, all the graphics on our watches are already like that. We've always done that way. It's just that instead of the shape of a hand or number two, it's a triangle that we filled up with luminous material. So the way we do it is exactly the same as we would do it before. It's just another shape. So for us it was nice to do it, and but not technically complicated or something like that.
And as with enamel, you're filling these wells you've created in the dial, but instead of filling with enamel, you're filling with super Luminova.
We fill them with two layers. So it's first there's a layer of color, and then there's a layer of Luminova on top of it. And that's how you get the effect. So you give the color, and then you give a translucent layer of Luminova.
So now moving on to a watch that has been in the collection for a while with the Type 3, but this
Correct.
is a fashion we haven't seen before. Tell me a little bit about what's new on this variant of the Type 3.
So it's called eucalyptus, and we decided to do this because basically we did not have a real color on Type 3. We had a black one and a white one, but no real color. I took this color because it is very natural. And as you see, thanks to the oil inside, it gives it a very pebble-shaped watch. It has a pebble-shaped design, but by also using a natural color, it even gives it a more organic feel. And when you wear it, it feels very natural to you. It's a color that fits us.
And so green's been very popular the last 3 years, but this is a very different kind of green. It's softer, it's more pastel, like you said, a little bit more organic. I think this is a green that's going to stand the test of time, and it is a thoroughly realized idea as the concept extends from the dial all the way to the strap. Tell me a bit about the strap.
The strap is basically, we used Alcantara. It's a very easy, maintainable material, very strong also from a martindale point of view, so from the rubbing. And it gives it also a very natural touch, natural feel. Somewhere we want to make watches that are lovable. And when you use materials that are lovable, that you like to touch them, it's soft. If the color is a bit soft, you get something that is very appealing to you, where you can create empathy with. And that's really something we're looking for. So we thought the color, the materials, everything is, of course, a whole. So it needs to match each other and be coherent.
So now this is a new version of a watch that's still relatively recent in the catalog. Here you have the Type 8, but a new dial color and a new type of strap.
Yeah. So it's called the Type 8. It is our entry-level watch. and we introduced it this year with a Sage dial. What is particular with Type 8, it is our third generation platform, so meaning that the way the discs are working is a bit different than the previous generations. It's all working on ball bearings. So on the previous generations, the main disc was on ball bearings, or is on ball bearings. For example, this one, the main disc runs on balls, but the sub discs are traditional with an axle and two stones and a bridge. Yeah. Whereas this, the whole disc is on ball bearing. So the disc is the ball bearing. And so you get, that's why we can make these watches so thin, because the disc is hollow inside. Because the gear that drives the disc is on the outside and is part of it. So why do I say that? It's because we could reduce the split line half. So we went from 0.05 of a millimeter to 2.5 hundredths of a millimeter on the Type 8 and on the Type 2, because this is an evolution on Type 2. I'm saying that is because for this watch, you know, the green parts are titanium parts. Here also, the green parts are titanium parts. For this watch, we developed a coating, special coating that we developed especially for Ressence, because it needs to be thin. But here it had to be even thinner because of the ball bearings that are in touch with the material, with the color. And so we could develop this is a galvanic color that allowed us to have really only 1 micron thickness. So it did not have any influence on the work in the functionality of the watch with these very, very tight tolerances.
Benoît, that is absolutely awesome.
It's a bit technical, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That I expect nothing less from this brand. But again, it's very technical, but you make it seem
you
very
don't see
simple.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's really the philosophy. We don't want to. Many brands show the technicity, and it's intelligent to do it because you can show why it's expensive. But for us, it's we have another philosophy. We look at watchmaking as a service that is provided by the watch. It's a bit weird for you maybe, but a watch is a service provider. And how do you provide the service in the best way is to be as clear as possible as a watch, to express the time. So all the things that you can take away will increase the functionality, and so will increase the service. And by having a good service, you have a good relation with your watch. So that's the whole idea behind it.
And of course, you come from an industrial design background, not from watchmaking, not necessarily from business per se, but from the idea of organic, intuitive design. And that sort of guides your philosophy. So I have to ask, because you're wearing the eucalyptus today,
I do.
Is that a personal favorite?
That's my watch, yep.
That is your personal
Number 0.
favorite. Fair enough. And if people want to learn about your timepieces, where do they reach out? Who do they contact?
For Dubai, it's with Siddiqui, of course.
Outstanding.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Really
Thank you, Tim.
appreciate that.